Hello and welcome everybody back to the Inside Our Galaxy podcast. I'm your host, Eric Hernandez, as always. I mean, do I really have to say it? We lost again, 3-1 against Colorado at home. Disappointing night again. I mean, disappointing season overall. You heard it all. You heard it all through this whole season. And I mean, it's just another episode where I guess we can just dive in and talk about another loss and where we go forward from here on out, because like I said in the last episode, it's going to be a busy month, and that starts with that continues with Seattle coming up in the US Open, and then after that you have San Jose for your next MLS match day. So yeah, again, disappointing result, but also a good conversation to have once again, and it's good to have you all here. And with me as always is my co-host LA Galaxy Central. How you doing, man?
Well, the Galaxy game is over, so I guess I'm doing better now. Like every time the game is over, I'm better. So
Yeah.
we'll move forward.
Yeah. I was gonna say 24 hours from the game, but no, it's been more like, I don't know, like 14 or something like that. But
Really.
yeah, I mean, the game's over. That's a good thing. we don't have to suffer through that. But I guess we do have to suffer by talking about it again. So like I said earlier, we lost 3-1 against Colorado, and I can go in saying what had happened in the game, but everybody saw it. Everybody knows what happened. And all we can say is that it was just an absolute shit show. It was a disappointment. And, this is not the results that we want to see at home. This is not the results that we just want to see ever. And I know it's going to happen at some point. It always happens when you have a deficit like this. But considering what has happened so far this season, it sucks because we have had how many results like this already? And it continues to pile on. And we had talked about it last week. At some point, it's not going to be the beginning of the season anymore. In fact, we're probably behind the beginning of the season. And yeah, this is just another disappointing loss. And honestly, there's really nothing more you can just say about that. But I'm gonna ask you anyways. What do you think about this game? What were your thoughts about it?
Yeah, it was horrible. I think at this point, like something really has to change, whether it's a coaching change, it's a player change, it's signing a free agent. Something has to change, bringing up a USL player, something has to change because, like Chicharito said, we're doing the same things over and over again, and it's not working. It's never going to work. Our tactics are horrible. Greg Vanney has done a horrible job this year, and the players have been pretty bad too. It's been awful, really. It doesn't work. Something has to change. Like players have to change. Personnel. It's not even on the front office anymore. This is definitely players right now, and it's just not working. Something has to change.
No, yeah, I mean Chicharito in his post press conference last night, yeah, he said like at some point something needs to change. Something has to change, whether it's taking the accountability or whatever that may be, or other players stepping up and taking accountability and things like that. Yeah, I mean honestly, something needs to change. And honestly, going into the game, and I was there last night, so
So
that
was I.
sucks. That sucks. But
No
I
one
was there
did.
last night, and going into the game, the Galaxy looked good for the first 10 minutes. There was an atmosphere brewing with, of course, ACB being back, and a lot more people in general being back in the stadium. I felt, or it looked to me at least, right? So there was an atmosphere brewing. You know, the start of the game looked nice. The Galaxy looked like they were gonna dominate this Colorado team. They had so many chances, like really in the first 10 minutes of the game, and you were like, okay, the Galaxy know what they're doing. They know that they need to win this game because of the busy month, the busy schedule, and this is a game to get back on track. So you had saw that very early on in the game, and you thought this was going to be something good. Then once Colorado scores off a set piece, which we're bad at set piece defending, that's when it sort of just the ball started rolling, and then Colorado started getting their motivation going, and the Galaxy were depleted after that, and that's where it all went downhill. And yeah, I mean honestly, this was just a really bad situation, and something needed to change. Something has to change. Like we said, the tactics were just bad, and looking at the lineup, because there was a couple of changes where you saw Uri Russell going starting. They took Jalen Neal, and Koulibaly was starting, and then those were just two subtle differences in the lineup, and you thought, why are we taking out our best defender And why are we putting in Uri Russell, which hasn't started at all this season and has had very little minutes so far this season? And it made no sense whatsoever to put those two in. And and like I said, that was before the game. What had happened during the game, just slowly it started becoming, just an absolute disaster class. But yeah, I mean, honestly, this was a bad from the get go. Honestly.
Honestly, bro, I might have to say I've been Greg Vanny's biggest defender, but I'm getting pretty close to Vanny out now. Like he is responsible for this. He's made a lot of excuses. He said he needs time to form his team, time to get his players in, and this is what he gets. He had like 5 months and he failed. Like if it's making transfers is too hard for you and you demand to be the GM of the club, well then you deserve to get fired. And his tactics, he's just trying to play players out of position. Like Delgado and Pucha are really good players, but they're not wingers. We're just trying to play players in positions that don't work. It's like in the NBA trying to play Steph Curry at center. Like Steph Curry, greatest point guard of all time, amazing player. But if you play him at center where there's 7 feet guys going at him, they're going to lose every game. It's kind of what we're doing. We're just playing guys out of position and it clearly doesn't work. And he's not making any adjustments to it. It's never going to work. If he keeps doing this, we're going to keep losing every game. And I think it's time to call up the USL players like Gino Vivi and Tyler Boyd. Those are our starters every game from now on. Not because they're great players, but because they know how to play the positions and it'll at least look like a natural fit on the field. But Greg Vanny, I mean, I'm losing a bit of patience with him. This is getting quite ridiculous.
Which, by the way, Gino Vivi did make his debut
That's
last
all
night
right.
or
Yeah,
during that game. So congrats to him. And also Preston Judd got his first MLS goal. Yeah, right. That was his first MLS goal of the season or
I
like
think,
ever.
yeah.
Yeah. So Preston Judd got his first MLS goal. Congrats to him. See, I mean, those two, like, those were some great moments. But at the end of the day, the 3-1 loss ended up being kind of just being the focal points of those two getting their starts and their, individual stats, I guess. But no, yeah, I mean, honestly, just yeah, I'm honest. Like Greg Vanny is at the point where, yeah, like we mentioned it last week. It was like, is the hot seat starting to get hotter for him? And it is. Like it, and I had also compared it last week to the GBS when he like his final season, right? Like he didn't really have a plan. There wasn't really anything that was changing within his tactics or anything like that, and that ultimately got him fired. And that's what Vanny's doing right now. It's like nothing's changing. No, I mean, I guess there were subtle differences in the lineup, but even then, those were just like it didn't work, right? And also another thing, I think the two striker thing,
I'm done. Yeah, I'm done.
yeah, has to be done with that. Like because that we've been doing two strikers for how many weeks now, and we haven't gotten any results.
No.
So, um, something has to change. Like I don't care if you do a change and it doesn't work, at least you did a change, right? Like that we want to see. We want to see something else that's just different. And we haven't seen that so far this season. Maybe we might get that through this month with the amount of games we have. But yeah, I mean, I'm starting to lose my patience with Vanny too, because and I think he's a great coach, and I think he's had the credentials to be a good coach. But right now, with what he's had and what he's been cooking up, like it's not working. And at that point, if it keeps going, you're gonna have to get fired. That's
Yeah.
just the sad part about it, and that's how you know the sports business works. But it's leading to that if nothing happens.
Yeah, I mean the two strikers thing is horrible. Like we keep trying to make it work and it's just not working. I mean, Jovic and Chicharito just don't fit together. Jovic is kind of clumsy, keeps losing the ball. And honestly, I don't think we use him right. I think tactically we use him very poorly. He's more of a poacher striker and he should be on his own up top with some more support, but we just don't use him correctly and it looks really bad. I did kind of mention this. I think the Galaxy should look into trading Jovic in the summer to another MLS team because I feel like he can do really well on another team. That would be a big loss for us, but I still think I want his career to be successful more than just us having a good depth piece. And I think him getting traded possibly would be a great idea, but that's for another time. But yeah, the tactics are horrible. The setup every game is just horrible, really. There's no offense. And clearly this formation is not helping us defend because we're giving up 3+ goals, 2+ goals every game, and we're not scoring. So if we're not scoring goals and we're conceding goals, then we're just a bad team. There's not really another way to put it.
Agree, 100%. Like you know, if we can't score, what's the point? And if we can't defend, what's the point? Like
Yeah.
that's just the bad part about it. And I mean, I don't know about the Jovic thing, but of course, yeah, if it requires moving pieces later on in the summer, which I think that window opens in like a month or so, you know, it might that might have to be the difference maker. Whether it be Jovic or another player or whoever it might be, like I think, at some point if that's what it has to take, then let's do it. But no, yeah, I mean, really, I can't say nothing more about the performance and the team because it's just the same thing over and over again. And this is what we've been talking about for ten games already.
Pretty much. The midfielders at winger really makes me angry though, because like, why is this not changing? You can't play midfielders at winger. It's like playing Chicharito at center back. Like, why are we doing this? Why do we think it's okay? It's not okay. It doesn't work. It's just like, it's like playing hockey with like five defensemen. Like, you can't do that. Or playing basketball with 5 point guards on the court. Like, you can't just put players in spots and say, okay, do it. Like, you need the pieces to play the game, and you're just like shoving players like midfielders at wing and thinking it's going to work. It's never going to work. It's just, it makes no sense. And I don't know how we can't recognize that and can't change it. Even if you don't have high caliber wingers, at least play some USL guys that are stardom, that you have to, because like they know how to play the position, but you're just putting midfielders as wingers, and it looks weird. It looks awkward. It looks wrong. It's just not right. You can tell the results speak for itself, and it just looks weird on the field. It really has to stop. That at least has to stop.
Yeah, I agree. Which is kind of funny, just kind of off topic. Like whenever I play FIFA, I have my player as like a striker, and then there's some times where they move me to right back for some reason. And it's like, oh wow, like this is really realistic. This is the Greg Vanny way, like that FIFA made this so realistic. But no, I agree, right? Because we had said it before with like, for example, Memo Rodriguez, right? We had said like, okay, like we want to make him a winger or make him somewhat of a hybrid. That's fine. We tried it out. It didn't work, and we're doing this with some other players too. We tried it. It doesn't work. And again, it's just
Delgado
a
now.
matter of change. What are we going to do to fix it? And if it does, and like you said, if it does require bringing USL players or
Free agent too. You can sign those guys. There's free agents out there. You can get like a 1 year deal, maybe. I mean, you need something, bro.
yeah, just whatever you can, right, to really get it. And no, and it's just poor, I guess management, poor, signings through the window because we didn't really do anything about that, never really addressed it, and putting too much faith in Douglas Costa, another thing as well, and
Oh,
that kind
we
of
called
really
it
messed
too.
us up. What's up?
We called it too. Like we knew Douglas Costa was an unreliable player. Like we were saying, like even in preseason, like, oh, he's gonna get injured. Oh, he's gonna get suspended. And guess what? This season he's done both of those things. So we called it. Hey,
Yeah, which by the way, Douglas Costa out for 3 to 4 weeks. um I mean, this is
I don't
nothing
get
new.
it, man. I don't get it.
This is
I really
nothing
don't
new.
get it.
Um, and honestly, I feel like Douglas Costa saw this May schedule and was like, you know what, just gonna sit out for this one. I'll fake an injury and not play 7 games in 1 month.
I mean, it really does suck because I don't really want to be that guy that just says players are faking injuries because I don't really know. But it just seems like, I mean, how is he getting injured? Like, you really got to ask the question. We're not even seeing these injuries. We don't even know how they happen. It's like he puts in a lazy effort, an effort that I think me and you could even put in. It was that bad against Orlando, and somehow it gets injured out a month. Like, this is happening with no other players on our roster too. So I can't really blame the medical staff. I feel like Costa is just faking it. And at that point, he doesn't want to be here. He's made that pretty clear with the Brazil reports and him wanting to get bought out. We didn't buy him out for some reason. Like at this point, we still can, and I probably would, but we should just get rid of Costa. He just clearly doesn't want to be here. He has no passion, like we saw in Orlando, and now he's injured again. We don't even know if he's really injured. He might be. I think he's probably not, but yeah, I've had enough of Costa. It's getting pretty ridiculous, just like it is with this whole team.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not just Costa, it's everything, right? But
It is.
yeah, Douglas Costa, it really does feel like that though. Like it really does, like he just faked this thing. And again, we don't want to be the people to start putting things that he did fake it and he's not playing because he doesn't want to, because we don't know, right? We didn't see his medical reports. We didn't see what exactly he got injured from, though it's from a calf, I think it was. But like we didn't see what the severity of it is. And but it just really does feel that way. And you know with how we are and how we're losing, it almost sort of feels like that's what's happening, is that he's kind of faking it. But we just don't know. But it is ridiculous to this point where you play 45 minutes, not even at the best 45 minutes you've given the season.
That was
And
the worst I've ever seen from anybody on the Galaxy, pretty much.
yeah, like it was poor. Like it wasn't even poor, it was just terrible.
You
And
and
you
I could do
somehow
that
get
effort,
injured off of it.
seriously. You and I
So
could do that effort. I'm not even kidding. You and I can play like that for
I
45
really
minutes.
think so. I really think that I can go. If I was in Douglas Costa's place, like there wouldn't be a difference.
Just a couple of
um,
heel flicks, just some walking. We can do that, right?
yeah, I think we can do that. But no, it's ridiculous, and like we said, it's just ridiculous for the whole team in general. Um, Another thing too, which I think was, I guess, the lowest part of the season that happened during this game. Our boy Kevin Cabral scored on
We paid
us.
for him to score on us.
We paid for him to score on us, which, by the way, I mean, a lot of people were kind of mad about the whole paying thing, but at the end of the day, we wanted to kick him out of town, I guess, and that was the only way we can do it. So we can't really blame that. But still, though, the poetic justice of Kevin Cabral coming back to LA, playing the Galaxy, scoring on us, I mean,
Sorry.
it's not surprising at all, to be honest. It's just something that I think that should have happened. And, I guess congrats to him. He got a goal and, we're paying him to do it. And it happened to happen. I think it was bound to happen that he was going to score on us. It just felt that way. And he did. So congrats to him, I guess.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised by that at all. And I'm pretty happy for Cabral. I mean, he played pretty good. Even outside that whole goal, he did a lot of things really well for them. That's kind of another reason why I want the Galaxy to trade Jovic is I feel like Jovic can be very successful in another MLS team that actually uses him and starts him and plays him alone at top of some attacking support. And you see if Cabral a new situation, he's doing a lot better. I feel like the same could happen with Jovic and rather just our depth. I kind of want to put these players' careers in the first front. I feel like a trade for Jovic, like we saw with Cabral, would be great for his MLS career. But yeah, congratulations to Cabral, and he did pretty good that game, and his team got the win. So good job to him.
Yeah. And he well, they did boo him once he scored, but he did actually get some some sort of an ovation when he got announced through the lineups, I guess, for Colorado. So he did get sort of an ovation for it. And so like I said, respect to him, I guess, for doing scoring and coming back. It didn't work out here, but it looks like it's working out in Colorado, sort of. I mean, I think he's only scored like what, 2 goals, and I think he's gotten benched a few times. But still, if this becomes a turning point for Cabral, congrats to him. And hopefully he does better in Colorado. He has much better season. Uh
Remember last year when we used to have the debates who would we rather have, Costa or Cabral? I think that's pretty much over now. At least one's committed.
yeah, I think that conversation is over. You know what they say, the best ability is availability, and
That's
Colorado
true.
Colorado and Cabral has been, he's been available, although he's been effective, that's a different story, but he's been available. He has at least been on the field and does some good things. Costa, that's a different story. So yeah, I think that debate is over. um but yeah, I mean, anything else you want to talk about Colorado? I mean, this really was. I mean, there's really nothing much more we can say than it was a big disappointment. But you have anything else to say about it?
Klinsmann was also horrible. The keeper. I mean, on the corner kick, the dude just like is catching butterflies. You think on the first goal where he just misses the ball, and on the third goal, like he gets shit from like a weird angle. It's like just right over him. It's like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Like, I don't know. I just can't really trust Klinsmann anymore either. He's doing a pretty bad job lately.
Yeah, I agree on that as well. Like Klinsman will have those good saves, but then there will be those moments where it's like, dude, what are you doing? And I feel like that's been our goalkeeper situation for a while now, right? You can even say the same thing with Bond sometimes. I don't want to. I think Bond's
Little
much
more,
better. I
yeah.
mean, but you can say the same things about Bond. Obviously, when we had Bingham, it was the same situation. We've had a goalkeeper issue for a while as well, um, but no, yeah, I mean those were bad mistakes by Klinsman as well. Um, ACB came back, and there was an ovation for them in that game. I wanted to address that, and they got their tifo, which also got a bit of hate, I guess, on Twitter.
I
But
didn't go on Twitter. Not after that.
there was an interesting detail to their tifo that they displayed.
Tell me.
So I guess, of course, this was Star Wars theme and it was Star Wars night. They had a Rogue One tifo, which was one of the Star Wars movies. Because I had to ask my friend because I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but he told me like, yeah, that's like a Rogue One reference. So they had a Rogue One tifo for the game, and they had an AT-AT, which is those big four-legged robots from Star Wars that are in like the snow planet or whatever. And it was obviously one that had been like knocked down, and on the AT-AT there was 138, which is Riot Squad section.
Ooh, yikes.
So someone had caught that, and you know, everyone was asking, why is that there? We need some clarity on this. And nothing has been said about it, and I don't want to say more anything about it, but I just thought that was an interesting detail to their tifo. And then of course what it said on the tifo was fuck, I forgot what it said. It was like you weren't the only ones who lost everything, but we decided to do something about it. I think it was something like that.
It
But
was that, I think.
yeah, it was something like that. But I had posted it on my page anyways. But yeah, that was an interesting detail to the tifo, of course. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because that was just interesting. But yeah, I mean, really, there's nothing more about the game. Also, just a lot of people left after that third goal as well. Like it was like actually kind of, I don't want to say it was full, but there was a lot of people. But by the end of the game, everybody was just gone. Like it's pretty sad to see as well.
Yeah. I mean, I actually had no idea about that on the TIFO. I never saw it from anywhere. No pages posted on IG, and I didn't really go on Twitter after that. I mean, obviously, there wouldn't be a good reaction, so I don't know why I'd go on there. But yeah, thanks for pointing that out because I actually had no idea. I might look a little more into that.
Yeah, it's an interesting detail for sure. I don't know what I mean on like just looking at it. Of course, people think it's just a shot at him. I don't know about
I
that.
think it sounds like it is. I
It
mean,
sounds like it is, but I'm we're not going to say it is a shot because we don't know what the meaning behind that is. But because I had thought it was on like the X-wing, which is one of like the planes from Star Wars, and I thought it was on that, but then I found out it was on the AT-AT, and I was like, oh shoot, like I don't know, it looks like a shot, but not going to say it is. Of course, anybody from ACB or anybody who was part of that T who made the TIFO can explain it themselves, but we haven't heard anything about it either. Um, but yeah, I think we're done with our recap, or unless you have anything else to say.
yeah, I think one last thing is why did Koulibaly start the game? Like Neil has been one of our best defenders this year. His confidence is at an all-time high. Like we're at home. Like why would you bench him? Like for Koulibaly, who's had a really bad season. Like why?
I I really thought that was a useless thing, like a useless like player, or not. I don't want to say Koulibaly's useless, but I just want to say that was kind of a useless decision to put him in when Jalen Neal has been playing great.
Exactly. Yeah.
It really doesn't make any sense. I guess you want to save him for Seattle, which I guess we'll talk about that right now in a bit. But yeah, I mean that was an interesting decision, and clearly it didn't work because Koulibaly got injured and had to leave the game early. So um, yeah, pretty shitty night.
It was.
Pretty shitty night for but hey, we've had a lot of shitty nights, I guess, and we're I don't even want to say we're used to it because we're
We
still
are.
disappointed at the end of the day.
Well, we are used to it, you know?
I guess like we're used to it, but at the same time we still feel the emotions of yeah, we lost, we stink, and it sucks. So
Yeah, at least the Lakers won last night.
the Lakers did win last night. So yeah, there was that. I felt like I should have stayed home and watched that. Or there was a lot of other events to watch better than the Galaxy. The Lakers game, Canelo was fighting. WWE had an event. Fucking, I think. Obviously there was baseball games. You could have watched that. That was much better to watch. And you know, we decided to watch the Galaxy. So
Hey, who knows what would have happened, you know?
that's true. What if,
I
what
don't
if
know.
we decided to watch something else and the Galaxy won like 5-0? What if that's what we need to do? We just need to stop watching games in general.
Took our chance, you know?
Yeah. Maybe I'll do it next week. But anyways, I think that's going to be it for our recap of Colorado. And I guess we can move on into our previews. Or actually, there is one thing I wanted to say, which is Galaxy News related. Landon Donovan inducted into the U.S. Soccer Hall of Fame. Congrats to Landon. Of course, legend of the game, legend of the Galaxy. Congrats to him for being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And, you know, wish we still had those years and wish we could still have him on the team prime Landon Donovan, but the sad news is we don't. And but still, congrats to Landon on his induction to the Hall of Fame. And yeah, I mean, congrats to him.
The number 10 doesn't hit the same anymore, does it?
It really doesn't. Like,
Not
and
quite.
when was the well? I was gonna say what maybe Pavon was closest to the like after him for
He
being
was a
the best number 10, but
Pavone was a baller though.
yeah, he was. But I'm saying like like after Landon, somebody taking on the number 10 who was better after that. I mean,
Well,
I don't think
Santos and
Pavon.
Costa.
No, I don't think. But Pavon, I guess, was a baller, and he respected the 10 pretty well. But after Landon, nobody really respected that number. But anyways, yeah, congrats to Landon Donovan on that. And I guess we can jump into our two previews for this week.
I have one
To
more thing to
start,
add though.
oh, go ahead.
At least between Gio Dos Santos and Douglas Costa for the battle of who's the worst number 10, at least in 2016, Gio Dos Santos gave us an MVP caliber season. Like he finished, I think, third in MVP voting, led us to the third seed in 2016. Meanwhile, Costa is like not even close. So, like, some people have that debate, like, who's the worst number 10? And it's like, for me, it's obviously Costa. I don't know if you agree, but
I always feel like people give Gio Dos Santos a little bit too much like hate because people
well,
say like he's the
I
worst
don't know.
number 10. I don't fully or like the worst DP ever. Like I don't fully agree on that because I think Gio had some good seasons. He had some good,
Well,
you
he had
know,
a good season. I
or
don't know
a
about
good season, but
seasons.
yeah, like he had one good season, but he had some productivity is what I'm trying to say. Like, he still produced a little bit. I don't know. I feel like people give too much hate for Geo being the I guess the worst DP or the worst number 10, but I think there's way worse that we've signed after him. So um just wanted to point that out. But yeah, I don't know. But like I said, congrats to Landon. He's the best number 10 on the Galaxy. But all right, now I guess we can go into our preview of Seattle. We had talked about this last week. We're going up against the Sounders for the US Open Cup this Wednesday. Um, Another tournament, a tournament that's, knockout, one and done. Um, and the approach going into this was we had felt like that we need to see Galaxy going with their full starters, their best lineup. But, kind of talking about Colorado afterwards, what is our best lineup? What is the best lineup to go against the Seattle Sounders, who right now seem to be all the way back, look like they're competing like how they normally have done, and this is an opportunity for Seattle to go get another trophy, and I'm pretty sure they're going to go fight for the U.S. Open and stuff like that. So how do we approach this game against Seattle Sounders? Because we clearly don't know what is our best lineup, and we don't know what's the best way to play. And it's against a tough opponent, an opponent that we haven't beaten in 10 games. So how do we approach this, man? Explain it to me.
Yeah, so I'm in a tough place right now because I'm kind of thinking like after these recent performances, I think every starter on the Galaxy, just if I'm the coach, I don't think it's going to realistically happen. I think every starter should get benched, like Chicharito on the bench, Puch on the bench, Brugman on the bench, Delgado on the bench, whole defense on the bench, and just give everyone else a new chance because the performance recently have been disgraceful. But I don't know how we approach this game. Do we approach it with starters? Do we approach it with bench players? How does Seattle approach it? I don't know. I mean, I really don't know because I think the starters for our team, our normal stars, all deserve to get benched after how they've played recently. But I don't know if this is the game for it. Maybe you give the stars another chance for the Galaxy. Maybe they're hungry to prove themselves. Maybe Greg Vanny might adjust something. I don't know. But I feel like either in this game or the San Jose game, all the stars should get benched. Just my personal opinion.
Right. Yeah, it is going to be tough going up against the Seattle side in a tournament that if we lose, we're out, like we don't, that's another trophy that we can't compete for. And we also mentioned it last week that this could also be another trophy or this could be probably the best trophy to go get as of right now, because it's a tournament where, you know, team surprise, not the best teams, um, you know, that at least in MLS can possibly go win, right? Like we've seen that before in the US Open. And so this might be an opportunity for the Galaxy to go get a trophy. So yeah, I really don't know how we approach this. I feel like you should still go with starters, but I sort of agree with what you're saying. Like, we've been poor. Even the starters, even our best players have been bad. Like, why are we gonna let these guys play? Let's try a different approach and let's try to you know, get into that game differently. But also, how does Seattle go into this game? Are they going to use starters? Are they going to use bench players in there, or maybe some of their second team players in there? Like how do they approach it? Because they could go in and say, "Hey, let's just use our starters. Let's kill this Galaxy team quickly as we can, and then once we get a good, once we're up by a lot, pull them out, go use your bench players and just hold on to the game." Because seeing what had happened in Colorado, they can easily go do that. They can just say, "Hey, let's score 3 goals. We know we can score 3 goals on this Galaxy team. Once we get to that point, we can take off our starters and let our bench players just hold on to the game." So how does Seattle approach it? That's I guess to be determined on Wednesday. But you know I don't know. It really is weird how they approach to that game, but it is an important game nonetheless.
Honestly, I think Seattle just goes with their bench because I think Seattle believes, and they should believe, that they can beat our starters with their bench. I think it's possible. Seattle's very well coached. They have the players to do it, even as depth. And I think they can go in, maybe like a few stars on the field, and most of their bench, they can come in and beat us. I think they believe that without having to play a lot of their best players, and they have the right to think that. And they've dominated the matchup between us recently. They're the first MLS team to go 10 straight games unbeaten versus us, and it could be 11 depending on what happens on Wednesday. And yeah, I don't expect all of Seattle starters to play because I do think they are kind of contending for the Supporters Shield right now. They're top of the Western Conference. I think they play today, so that'll be kind of interesting to see like who plays today for them. If there's a starters resting day for Wednesday, we'll see that later. But yeah, I think Seattle can go into that game with their bench and maybe just a few stars and still be very confident that they can beat us.
Yeah, I mean that is another approach, right? Because Seattle is this team that's like, hey, we're the Seattle Sounders, right? We've won everything. We can beat you with our with our bench players. So that is another mentality that they can go into. So I do think that that is valid. But yeah, an important game on Wednesday nonetheless. All right, let's talk a little bit about San Jose now. So of course, Cali Clasico this weekend on Sunday at home. Uh, right now San Jose just beat LAFC, giving handing them their first loss of the season. San Jose, I think they're in fourth place right now in the Western Conference. They're doing much better than what they had in recent years. And yeah, San Jose looks like a really good team right now. And we're going up against them, and that's going to be another difficult game, rivalry game. And, you know, anything can happen in rivalry games where right now San Jose seem to be on a roll. Yeah, I mean, how do we approach this game? Because this is a, like I said, rivalry game. San Jose are playing much better. And how do we go up against this San Jose team? Because this is another interesting matchup, and against another very difficult team, I believe.
Yeah, so we already lost one rivalry game at home, and I think we're probably going to lose a second one. San Jose is playing really good right now. They have a lot of confidence after just beating LAFC as they should. That's a very good game for them. And yeah, they have Christian Espinoza, who's an MVP caliber player. You also see our other rival, LAFC, who has Dennis Bouanga as an MVP caliber player. And then there's us with Douglas Costa, which it kind of shows like those ownerships care. They're putting in the effort. They really want to get the organization winning, and we're just kind of in for the likes and TikTok kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, you can really tell, and it's reflecting on the field too. LAFC beat us this year, and there's no reason to think San Jose won't do the same with the way we're playing. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't know. If we just do the same thing, we just play midfielders as wingers, we're gonna get our ass kicked again. Like that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that is basically it, right? But yeah, San Jose, even in recent, like even when they haven't been that great, they've beaten us at home. They did it last year. They beat us. Well, they were beating us, I think 3-0, and then we came back like like
3-2.
deficit smaller 3-2, I believe it was. But even then, San Jose can beat us at home, even
They
when they're
have.
not great. So yeah, San Jose coming in at home. Their fans seem to be a lot more vocal now because of how they've been. How so? Who knows what their traveling support might be for that game? Um, just in general, it's a rivalry game. Anything could happen, and San Jose right now is at a really have really good confidence after beating LAFC, the last undefeated team, and or well now they're not undefeated, but they were the last undefeated team, and they're in the all-time confidence right now. They're in a good spot on the table, and what right now, just like them, like what I can't even speak. What makes them think they can't beat us, right? So, at the end of the day, yeah, this is going to be another difficult game, but anything can happen in rivalry games. That's, I guess, the only optimistic part about it. But I wouldn't be surprised if San Jose came into our house and beat us once again. So, yeah, it just depends on how we approach it and how what players are in and what our tactics are, and that's it. we
It's happened a lot, really. I mean, in 2019, we lost to San Jose at home 3-1. And in 2020, I think we lost to San Jose at home 4-0. 2021, we lost to them 2-1 at home. In 2022, we lost 3-2. We have beaten San Jose a lot of times, though. In San Jose, we've had good success there. And obviously, in 2020 and 2021, we also beat them at home. I think 2020 it was 3-2. It was that game where Leggett scored and we got the penalty kick. And in 2021, it was that 1-0 game. But San Jose, when they've come to LA, have done a lot better than we have at home. And it's kind of been the opposite when we've gone up to San Jose. So I guess the history of the rivalry says San Jose might take this game. And they're a lot better right now. So there's no reason to think they won't. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully, Vanny wakes up eventually and realizes this is not working. The tactics are just horrible. This isn't even a front office thing. I think this is a Greg Vanney thing why we're so bad right now. And yeah, just fix it. Really, I mean, just I don't know. Just I just can only hope, but there's not much reason to be optimistic right now.
Yeah. I mean, we can't really be that optimistic. I guess I am on the show. I am kind of like the voice of optimism, but even then, like it's really difficult to say like, yeah, like we can go beat the San Jose team, like fuck San Jose, this and that, whatever. But it's like no, like they're playing really good, and historically they've played well at Dignity Health Sports Park recently. And what makes them what makes us think that they're gonna lose this week? Like it's hard to see that, but you know I don't know, just we can only hope for the best. That's like always. We can always hope for the best. So that's pretty much it.
Doesn't that really just suck though that both of our rivals both have two MVP caliber players on the wing and we have Douglas Costa? Like we're the LA Galaxy. We shouldn't be so underwhelming like that. Like, oh, come on.
Yeah, it really is. We're losing it. We really are. Like you can't deny it that we're losing it, not only in our city but also in the state in general. Like both our rivals are doing great, and
For the league in general, everyone's better than us. It's not
yeah,
even
I
just a
mean,
Pacific
true,
rivalry thing.
true in the league in general, in the whole country. But I'm just saying specifically in California, regardless, still, you know, our rivals are doing better than us, and we should be in that mix. I feel like that's always kind of how it's been with the California teams. They're always in the mix. They're always in, kind of like trying to battle it out in the standings. But right now we're not. We're not competing the way we should be, and like you said, they have two MVP caliber players. We don't. We have Douglas Costa. Ricky Poo should have been that MVP caliber player, but he hasn't been that great either. I mean, he's still been good, but he hasn't been MVP caliber. So it's like, regardless, it's like we don't have that right now, and we're the laughing stock of California, sadly.
I was talking about more on the wing though. Like, yeah, we have some good players like Chicharito and Ricky Pooch, but like I'm talking about on the wing. Like we could have signed a winger like Christian Espinoza, a winger like Dennis Bouanga, but we choose Douglas Costa. That just speaks a lot to me.
That's true. I mean, yeah. I mean, what life would be if we had a Dennis Bouanga or Christian Espinoza type player on this team?
A fuck ton better. That's what it would be.
A lot better. But no, yeah, we have an injured and suspended Douglas Costa. Well, whatever you want to say it. So
Both.
yeah, yes, just yes for both. But yeah, like I said, for this weekend, we can only hope for the best. But yeah, we take on Seattle, we take on San Jose, and double week game. And I think I don't know if we're gonna really have another episode during the week, but so um, I guess that's just really much it for our previews. Unless you have anything else to say before we go.
Stop playing midfielders as wingers.
There you go. If Annie's watching this, there you go. But anyways, I think that's gonna do it for our show this week. Can't thank you guys enough for watching and listening. If you want to follow us on social media, go follow me at Insider Galaxy on Instagram, on Twitter. Go follow the Galaxy Central on Instagram. And yeah, it's shit right now, but hopefully better days come ahead. Which if I don't know if that'll be this week or ever in the season, but hopefully better days come ahead. But yeah, can't thank you guys enough. Be a friend, tell a friend about the podcast whenever, wherever you're listening to this podcast. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day, rest of your week, rest of your night, whenever you're listening to this. But thank you guys for listening, and G's up.
7 words